Brisbane, full of those who work, those who strive, those who care, and those along for the ride. But for us to thrive, we need a way to get by. And as the world gets busier, we must find ways to become more efficient. Our road to the future lies in our transportation system. Brisbane's population is predicted to grow up to 4.6 million by 2050, whereas the Australian population is predicted to reach 35.9 million in the same timeframe. This growth in population will bring benefits such as economic growth, tourism and urbanisation developments. However, associated challenges with growing demands in transportation, sustainability and others will arise. Southeastern Queensland's population is also predicted to grow by 56.2% between 2016 and 2041, which is at twice the rate at which the rest of Queensland is expected to grow in the same period. Additionally, Australia's ageing population with 52% growth of those over 65 by 2050 will also change the way the city needs to approach safe and appropriate transportation for all. Branded as one of the world's most livable cities with its warm subtropical climate, Brisbane maintains a population of over 2 million and brings forth a strong economy accounting for a value of 171 billion Australian dollars. The city is a host to unique social, residential and economic infrastructure with urban planning that supports a healthy outdoor lifestyle. Growing industries of business, manufacturing and transport are driving Brisbane to become an economic powerhouse for Australia. $7.4 billion of the $171 billion economy is from tourism exports alone, and an estimated $16.1 billion in exports came through Australia trade coast just in 2017 to 2018. Acting on the future, focus on the heart of Brisbane, the CBD, will have the largest impact. Efficient flow in and out of the CBD is key, with a 10-kilometre radius from the CBD being at the core of Moblex's 2050 vision. Currently, Queensland maintains a high reliance on road use. In 2018, 18 million passenger trips were completed on Queensland roads. Over 70% of goods were moved via road in the same year. However, as population growth continues and the city becomes a busier place, the flow will come to a halt. Brisbane's inner-city road network relies primarily on river crossing bridges with limited lanes to get into the CBD, subsequently becoming choke points during peak times. Given the CBD is currently the hub for all public transportation systems in Brisbane, limited flow and access to or from this hub bottlenecks the efficiency of Brisbane's inner-city transportation system as a whole. The current trend of dependence on roads can be accredited to present public transport systems that Brisbane has in place and their usage data. Only 14% of those travelling to work in Brisbane use public transport, with another 5% either walking or cycling. However, the latter is only realistically achievable for those living in the core precincts of the city. This lack of use could be due to both unavailability or the inefficiency of current systems and infrastructure in place. This is highlighted through the fact that 61% of residences in Brisbane are within 400 metres of a public transport stop or point, below the 90% policy target Brisbane sets out to aim for. On top of this, 12% of all Brisbane residences have infrequent access to nearby stops, offering services once every half hour.
In the commute time section of the study, the findings indicated a majority of respondents saying that 15 to 29 minutes and 60 to 90 minutes were the top two average commuting times. Most common transportation methods found 71.6% using bus, 63.5% traveling via car, walking at 48.6%, and use of train at 44.6%. Convenience and proximity was a primary reason for influence of choice in transportation at 43.8%, with efficiency at 21.6% and cost being the final factor with only 12.2%. Overall satisfaction with current public transportation found respondents to be relatively pleased with an average score of 7 out of 10. Contrary to this, however, respondents brought up a wide variety of problems. In summary, the biggest issues were firstly, late public transport, secondly, infrequent train services, third, peak traffic times, fourth, being points or stops being too distant from residences, and lastly, poor public infrastructure inducing bottlenecking. As for methods of navigation through Brisbane's inner city, Google Maps and similar GPS-based services came first at 87.8%, with secondary services such as MyTranslink and Journey Planner at 62.2%. When asked if respondents would consent to hypothetical real-time data collection in relation to travel frequency and paths to improve efficiency in systems as a whole, 54.1% agreed. Queen's Wharf. Currently under construction, the Queen's Wharf project aims to revolutionize Brisbane's inner city tourism, residential and economic factors. Slated to finish in late 2023, the multi-billion project promises to provide new residential apartments, public spaces, a casino, and a resort, creating an epicenter of tourism, leisure, and entertainment in Brisbane. Cross River Rail. Lastly, the Cross River Rail project is a train development system which plans to run between Dutton Park and Bowen Hills, crossing through Brisbane River via underground rails. This intends to build more framework for public transportation and ease road use and therefore congestion. This will be beneficial to the further development of Brisbane. However, Brisbane still requires additional transportation infrastructure to ensure that the inner city doesn't become more congested. Woolloongabba redevelopment. Catering to the needs of the sports fans, Woolloongabba redevelopment intends to allow faster transport into the inner city, therefore avoiding congestion via connection to the Cross River Rail, whilst also bringing forth urbanisation and improved pedestrian access to the precinct.
As we progress into the future, Brisbane needs to accommodate for emerging technologies and changes such as artificial intelligence and deep learning, transportation revolutions such as automation of cars, climate change, and advancements in alternative and renewable energy sources. Throughout most of the year, Brisbane maintains clear skies and mid to cool temperatures, receiving on average 8 hours of sunshine per day. Pre-existing visions find Brisbane seeking to further activate its outdoor spaces by increasing the following: living density to enable more walkable neighbourhoods, access to large public open spaces in the inner city, and finally, end-of-trip facilities in buildings and workplaces to promote active transport and reduce traffic congestion. Brisbane's vision as a new world city looks to embrace and celebrate its subtropical climate. Through an urban jungle approach, Brisbane complements its rich biodiversity and activates outdoor spaces through shaded walkways, relaxing areas, and tourist attractions. Brisbane is also looking to increase the use of renewable energy by implementing technologies such as solar power, tri-generation, and rainwater harvesting.